What's up, my friends? Welcome back to another video. Today we're taking a look at the brass section. Before we took a look at the woodwinds and the strings, so now it's time to dive into the brass. And as usual, I'm going to go from top to bottom in terms of range. So trumpet being the highest instrument, we're going to start there and work our way down. But before we really get into the overview of the trumpet, I want to give you my 10 steps to a clear orchestral sound guide. It basically takes you through 10 essential concepts that you need to know in order to take your mock-ups or your virtual productions from where they are right now to where you want them to be. These are very important. They include things like balancing and mixing and orchestration and just understanding timbres and all of that stuff. So if you're curious to taking your mockups to the next level, I highly recommend it. It's totally free. So if you check the box below, you'll see the link there and you can get it right away. Let's dive into the trumpet. So the trumpet's practical range is around F sharp 2 to C5. You can technically go a little bit outside of that too, but usually you want to stay within F sharp and C. The ideal range is even smaller than that. We have C3 to B flat 4 for all the different dynamics and articulations. And they were mainly used in pairs in the Baroque, Classical, and Romantic eras, reaching 4 to 6 in the 20th century, and sometimes even more for like film scores or more modern setups. You'll see larger ensembles of trumpets. They're pretty well suited for chords and sustained tones, but they're also great for solos individually or as a section. They also double really well with other brass, also in like mutes, right? So they provide a different timbre there and also other orchestral sections. So for example, trumpets with strings, you see that sometimes. You see that with woodwinds, even though the trumpet tends to be a bit louder than the woodwinds, it does happen as well. And the type of bore is cylindrical, which just means there's the same diameter throughout the entire pipe and then it flares out at the end. So this kind of creates a bright and brassy sound as contrasted with the conical bore for like the French horn and the tuba. Now, let's talk about some pros and cons to using the trumpet. For the trumpet, it's easy to play forte or loud throughout the entire range, and you can also control the quiet dynamics very well in the mid to low registers. So some mistakes that people make is they write very, very quietly for the high notes of the trumpet, and it usually doesn't really work too well because the trumpet actually needs that airflow and that speed in order to get those high notes coming out. It's also very agile and virtuosic, so it's typically used in jazz big band arrangements for lots of effects and different textures. You can even use trumpets for like runs and stuff like that, so it is quite versatile in that regard. And also the sound can really carry above the orchestra, being that it's quite a loud instrument when played at a louder dynamic, especially in larger sections of 2 and 3. Now, unfortunately, the low end isn't as full as some other brass instruments because, of its range and due to its construction, it's kind of a smaller instrument. So you want to use it in the appropriate context, maybe in like marches or anthems or higher solos where it can really reach out across the orchestra. So what are my favorite ways to use the trumpet? I love to use it to carry lead melodies in a warm or bright manner. If you listen to my piece called Tranquility, after the first section where the horn is playing the melody, the trumpet then takes that melody up an octave and it soars up a little bit with the rest of the orchestra kind of swelling behind it. So the additional dynamic really helps the trumpet to soar above the orchestra. It's also very powerful as a section, so having multiple trumpets playing declamatory chords or shorts, for example. You can also use it in a big band as a lead instrument or in a section playing tutti like chords or stabs, things like that. I love to use the trumpet in that context as well because I've written some big band arrangements and trumpets are definitely a very core instrument in that ensemble. And then also I like to use the trumpet for occasional runs and rips for effect as well, mainly in big band again, but sometimes in more concert music you can also use it as well for a more unique kind of twist. So that's just a quick overview of the trumpet. Hope it gives you a couple of ideas. And again, if you're interested in taking your mockups further, I want to give you my 10 steps to a clear orchestral sound in case you haven't downloaded it already. It's just like a free guide going over some essential concepts you need to know about the orchestra to take your mockups to the next level. So again, it's totally free. If you want to check the link in the box below, it'll take you straight there. So thank you so much. I'll catch you in tomorrow's video. Take care, my friend. Bye-bye.